What's up, Lego builders? Welcome back to Coconut Brick Studios, and in today's video I'm going to be building 3 different Mocs at 3 different price points. One at $20, $50, and lastly $100. This should be a fun challenge for me and will hopefully showcase what kinds of Mocs are possible and what kinds of parts to stock up on if you want to do lots of different kinds of Mocs but have limited funds. I spent hours going through different parts on Bricklink trying to find the average price to hopefully keep these as accurate to the price points as possible. So if you're excited to see the Mocs, don't forget to execute Order 66 on that like button. And while you're down there, if you haven't already, consider subscribing and tapping that notification bell so you'll be notified as soon as the next video drops. That out of the way, let's go take a look at the first Moc. Since the first Moc is the cheapest, it will obviously be the smallest, and as such, I want to make up for that with a nice frame. Presentation is very important when it comes to displaying a Moc. Even if it's really small and simple, if it has a sweet black tile, brick, or freeform frame, it will add so much to the actual Moc and make it seem fancier and more finished. Like a frame around a nice painting or a snapshot of a moment in time, neatly encased in its own black frame. Plus, investing money in parts for a good frame means you can use those parts over and over again in the future, no matter what kind of Moc you make. Real quick, I want to note that none of the minifigs included in any of these Mocs are included in the price to build them. My $20 Moc is a small patrol of 41st Recon troopers walking by a river in a field on Naboo. I know, classic coconut with another Naboo Moc, but that's the point I want to make. If you buy the right parts, thinking about the long term, you can build all different kinds of Mocs with them, even if it's the same planet, if you take the time to think of new creative ideas. Grass pieces or plant pieces in general are prime parts to invest in. With Moc number 2, I don't need to worry so much about a fancy frame with more money to spend on telling a better story, so I'm going to use bricks and slopes to create a freeform base. This snot technique is a great way to get away from square and rectangular bases so common among Mocs. The freeform allows you to make any shape you want. Plus, all you need to do is put down some plate and wedge plate on top of the base in the same general shape as your snot base, and now you can build on top with ease. I especially like to use this technique with Umbara. It being such a black, mysterious planet, I like to create shapes that look like ink blobs for my base. The $50 Moc is 501st Troopers on Umbara trying to avoid being eaten by the dreaded Vicus. The big difference here is more detail on the Moc. You have the smaller plants and trans red studs clustered among the larger plants, all on top of removable sections of plate and wedge plate. This is where most of the extra money went, as these plant pieces are a bit more expensive, coming in between 30 cents and $3.30 each to build. But more money means more pieces to tell the story and add in more detail, because freeform bases are typically a little bit easier to build and a little bit cheaper as you're just buying more of the same part, so the price doesn't go up too much for that section. Gonna be completely honest with you guys, I did not do a good job of adding up the pieces for Moc number 3. I was so burnt out from adding up prices and costs of pieces for the other 2 Mocs, I just gauged this Moc off of the size and the pieces used in the other Mocs. But I think it's still in the rough ballpark that I wanted for $100 tier. Also, this one was so big I didn't want to take it apart and build it again. I built each of these Mocs first so I knew what and how many parts were in them so I could get the right price estimate. So I'm just going to add the smaller builds, accessories, and minifigs here on this finished Moc. The $100 Moc was my favorite Moc. It's a freight yard firefight between private mercenaries trying to raid supplies from Republic troops on Coruscant. I was able to splurge on smaller builds and accessories to really bring this Moc to life. Instead of just one centerpiece to the build, with not much around it, I was able to build multiple different sections with their own smaller stories. Interestingly enough, this mock was not as big as I thought it would be. I bet this is more like $80 to build, not so much $100. That being said, those big light bluish gray tiles are about $1 each, and I used 10, so that's 10% of the budget right there. Plus, light bluish gray and dark bluish gray are pretty pricey, and I used a lot of them on the walls. So money gets eaten up pretty quickly if you aren't careful with what you buy. I bet I could have built a much bigger mock using different, cheaper colors. To be as part efficient as possible, I used snot for the entire bottom floor, so as not to use more filler brick plates and tile than necessary. There they are, 3 mocks at 3 different price points. I'm pretty happy with how each one turned out, and I feel like I was able to hit the price points pretty well. That being said, the sky is the limit with LEGO, and don't think just because you only have so many pieces means you can only build so good of a mock. All it takes is practice and willingness to learn and improve to get better at mock building. Hopefully you enjoyed this video, and don't forget to let me know which of these was your favorite in the comments and what you liked and didn't like. And I will catch you guys next time, but until then, happy building.